Call to
All
order.
right.
Call to order, yeah.
Yep. So we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Introductions. Yes.
I didn't look.
Okay, sure.
So, right, introductions. Welcome, Bethany, to the Lower Green Historic District Study Committee, and thank you very much for being willing to join. Just go around the table who's who, right?
Von Hochmeister, and I'm with the Newbury Historic Commission.
Hello. Joy Michaud. I live on the Lower Green.
Robin Etheridge, I live on the Lower Green.
And Elizabeth Leah from Historic New England.
Nice.
And you are?
I'm Bethany Groftborough. I'm the Executive Director of the Museum of Old Newbury.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. We ought to minute just to thank Madison for her work whilst on the committee. Wish her well. So just for the record. Okay, moving on. Minutes of the August 15th meeting for approval.
We're going to read the.
You're going to read the mission statement now?
I forgot about that. Sorry.
Yes.
Do you want to we
Sure.
we have a mission statement, Bethany, which we'll just run through and read, which sort of embodies what we're all about.
Great.
We read it at the beginning of every meeting.
We do, yeah, just to
So,
remind.
because you never know.
So the-
remind
Well,
any of you.
newcomers in the audience, it's just a thing we do every time.
Sounds good.
And also the recording.
So the mission statement of our Lower Green Historic, Local Historic Study Committee. The duly appointed Newbury Lower Green Local Historic District Study Committee is responsible for conducting an investigation to determine the desirability and feasibility of establishing a local historic district inclusive of the Newbury Lower Green, considering the historic significance of all buildings, structures, features, sites, or surroundings that would be included in such a proposed local historic district. The purpose and goal is to protect the historic Newbury Lower Green and the natural and built environment surrounding it for future generations to enjoy and experience the visual sense of the past history of our town. A Lower Green Local Historic District will create neighborhood stabilization and community pride and forever provide Newbury school children with a playing field and educational opportunities. The intent of this local historic district is to maintain and improve the settings of those buildings and places and to encourage new designs compatible with existing buildings in the district.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll let you have a copy of that. I've got one somewhere.
Fabulous.
It's also on the Dropbox and on the
Is it?
website.
Okay, fine. Right, moving on. Approving minutes of the August 15th meeting, which I wasn't there, but
So moved.
okay. Seconded.
Aye.
Okay.
Oh, aye. Approved.
Vote.
Okay, all those in
Right.
favor, right?
Yep.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. Which is the next piece is the study report outline and table of contents, of which
I have that.
this one here.
Yeah,
I have it.
there's two, yeah. There's the
The-
study committee report
Yeah, this is the good one.
outline,
Yeah.
what the report's going to look like, and the study plan based on, this is what we have to do to produce the report that has this in it.
Right,
Okay.
got
That
it,
we have to
So they're,
submit.
they're similar, but
okay.
Right.
this has a little bit more steps you gotta go through
Yeah,
to
I
get
think
to
this
that.
is the, which I appreciate, probably not everyone's gone through it in detail, but I think it's quite good to set out, and this is the most detailed setting out of the steps we need to do. So now, what we
Yeah, I've
need-
got another version that's only like 6 lines long,
Right,
that
yeah.
basically just condenses everything together, but this, yeah.
yeah. And
This is the one we need to decide who wants to work on what.
Right, so what we want to do is go down and assign, rather than all of us try and do everything, is to focus on who's going to do what. Okay.
So what I have is the study plan, is that what we're
Yeah.
looking at? Okay.
So,
Yes, that's
yes,
what I
at
have.
the moment, we have, just to track that, at the moment we haven't actually put anything down in writing as to where we're going, because the object is to study it first and then throw it all into the pot so that we can find out what should be included, what shouldn't be included, and to produce a document that is that the Massachusetts Historic Commission can digest it. They have a certain format. I mean, that's why I left you the Historic Commission manual. It's this thing I don't expect you to read, but it is, their approach is they want to make sure that, you know, all these boxes have been ticked, that there's been public outreach, that we've actually factually checked that these buildings are what they say they are, you know, someone's done the due diligence on it, and also the relevance of the area from a historical and architectural point of view. So there's sort of several things all got to come together: the history, the architecture, and the buildings in place, and things like that.
And this thing here, everybody needs to review it to make sure if there's anything, this is the report outline.
Okay.
So if there's anything in there that we're missing, if it's missing in here, it's missing in the study plan.
Right.
Okay.
So, and anything else, if anybody sees anything, if we want to send that out to someone that's done 15 of these already, or something like that, that would be useful. Or, you know, if there's anything in here missing, we need to get it into here, and then we need to adjust this so we don't get to the end and then can't write a section because nobody's did the research on it. That's just an input there.
Right, yeah. So, any initial comments on it at the moment? I appreciate people haven't had time to read it. I had a few, but I think they've been addressed in the subsequent one. Because the last pages of this are just an example, aren't they? Of
Oh, on the,
the, it gives options, things like that.
for the, you're talking about for this one here?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's for the report.
Yeah.
That's just some things that, okay, so in order to produce this, we reviewed
the
multiple other reports to see what was in them, took what we thought would be useful in ours and make it, you know, tailor it to fit our situation here.
Yeah.
And then, and then some of the things that we saw in here, in other reports, looked like good stuff to put into ours. That it we could use, it would be, you know, provide the justification you need for different conclusions, whatever they may be. So, anyway.
Yes, well, there was Massachusetts Historic Commission gave us some samples of reports. I've got one here on Mount Independence Local Historic District in Lexington as an example of what one looks like, the point of presentation. And it's pretty detailed maps, pictures, photographs of buildings, things like that.
Great.
So we can, they were very good. They'll give us anything, pretty well anything we need to help us go through the process. So,
Would it be worth running through the bullet points of the outline
Of
together?
the study plan outline or the report outline?
The
plan.
outline. not the plan yet, but the outline.
Okay, the
Just
report.
like you were saying, to
Right.
make sure that
Yeah.
we have all of the
Got it, okay,
big ideas.
Which is,
yeah.
It's labeled the annotated outline. Because there is also a table of contents, separate document.
oh,
This is
no,
a-
this bit, yeah.
this is
I wasn't sure what the summary sheet was, if it was something, but everyone that I had a summary sheet in front.
Yeah, like an executive summary.
Right.
Sort of, here's what we're doing. You have it at the beginning of every science
Yeah.
paper, here's basically why we're doing it in one paragraph, how we did it in one paragraph, and what our results were in
Right,
a single paragraph.
all fit on one page,
Yep.
or a page and a half.
Okay, introduction, where we will go over the setting and the history of Newbury, as well as a background of what a local historic district is and the process that it entails once a local historic district exists, that is. And then what the Lower Green Local Historic District, specifically this area's history, its significance, and we'll have a statement of significance in this section, as well as a brief history of the formation of this committee, why it was formed, and what its purpose is. Next, we will have a section on methodology as to how this study committee is going about its business and how the report was created, or will be created. This will look at how the boundaries are defined, what the criteria for this is, and then a little bit about the like community outreach that we both have done and will do. We are planning on holding 3 information exchange meetings in the 3 different neighborhoods of Newbury. We held one at the Lower Green Schoolhouse in June, yeah, July, this summer, and we will do one in Byfield and one on Plum Island. Similar, just information exchange. So we will go into a bit about that, and then how we conducted research, which we have not done yet. So future tense. To come up with our findings as to what incorporates a local historic district, and why, and what responses were. Then, Lon, you have a bit more, I think you've just described this next section a bit more than I have. But could you discuss the bylaw regulatory alternatives?
Oh, right, yeah.
What was that?
What's that?
What is the?
Like what are they?
Regular, yes.
Oh, they're at the back, as an example.
No, I know, but in general, for the camera, for us, just to talk through what this, in the report, what will this section have?
I guess it'll lay out what we are recommending for the rules, within that bylaw of restrictions, whatever they may be, whatever we decide. If we decide, I mean, the list is horrendous. One of them won't be the color of the paint. We've decided that already. But somebody in our July thing said, "What about fences?" And then and I said, "No, that's a good idea. We should consider fences so nobody puts up an 8-foot high fence around their property, and because that would again impair the view." So I don't know if they have the full list here to read them all.
No, I think that's
Yeah,
okay.
but the idea is and this is and these are things we can discuss when we have the public meetings. I think we need to hold the Lower Green one again, to be truthful,
Yeah.
but because we didn't have a study plan.
Yeah.
This time, we could present the cloud map saying, this is the area we walked, this is what we were considering, this is the area that we settled on for the study, and then in the end, we won't have the answer to what we're going to include in it, what we're recommending for inclusion, until that'll be the document in the end.
So to come back then, this
But
discussion.
I'd like to have, I think we should present that to in the meetings. Saying,
Absolutely.
here are the things we're looking at, and here are things we're considering, not including for restrictions, and give us some input, you know, from the public.
It almost comes at the very end.
So-
That's one of the last things to be done.
I think we wanted to get started on information sessions early, right, so that the public isn't feeling like we're excluding them from this process.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
that is very important, and so
Yeah.
I don't think it was a mistake, for instance, to hold that preliminary.
No,
meeting.
not at all.
Right.
No, definitely not.
Because the whole, if we wait till you have a
Yeah,
study plan.
we learned that
Oh,
they
yeah,
had
you're
more,
in.
well, what we learned is they had more questions than we had answers.
Absolutely, yeah. But this section of the
That
study
was good.
report, just to
Yeah,
clarify,
we learned,
is
yeah.
a discussion of the bylaw regulatory alternatives, because that's very legalese. That doesn't to exactly tell you what will be in this section, but it will be what is protected in the local historic district and what is excluded from review. The things that people can do and cannot do without prior approval.
Yeah,
That is what this will be,
Right.
this section.
yeah.
And
'Cause
then,
that's what's gonna be built into the bylaw,
right.
and that'll transfer over to the actual text,
Mm-hmm.
for, you know, what the
Which will be
bylaw
recorded.
says.
The final section of meat, if you will, in the report is just to outline which public meeting this report will be proposed at, and which town meeting it will be voted on.
Yeah.
And then we have a number of sections at the end of the report, citing sources, bibliographies, and any appendices that we might require, such as figures, tables, photographs of different properties, or historical photographs, specifically, and then architectural, maybe digest versions of the makeup of the proposed district.
Yeah, I kind of see that process as, so we've got this section of the report, two people raise their hand and say, I'll work on that, we'll work on that, and do something, and they'll go away, do some research, and then come back with a proposal. Here are the types of things, here's how we want to present this material, this picture's here, some pictures in an appendix, whatever it may be, and then we'll all have input on what that's going to look like. That'll be finished up, and then you'll be able to just take these pieces and stick them over into the report outline. But everybody will be involved in making some of the decisions, but only 2 or 3 people, whatever it is, will be involved in preparing that, doing the research and preparing it, and communicating that back to the rest of the group. That's my thought. If there's a better way to do it,
No.
please.
I think we sort of roundabout came to that
Yeah.
conclusion the last
Yeah.
time. So at this point we assign, we start to think of assigning
Yeah.
who's going to do what.
What people are interested in working on.
Keep going, yeah.
And and some people have a skill set here
Yeah.
too. That, would be wiser to have them work on those sections. In fact, maybe one of us working with the person with the skill set might be good, so that we learn something too. Just a thought, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, I think we should do that at this stage. Right.
Well,
Oh, and I have
we'll
somebody
talk about the
that'll
study
write,
plan first. That was just that outline. Then the
Okay.
study plan that Lon wrote
Folly.
kind of fleshes it out a bit in terms of what actually those
Yeah.
sections
Yeah.
are.
yeah, and before anybody does any research, if they say somebody grabs subtask 1C,
Right.
okay, they're gonna lay it out with more detail than this,
Sure.
because they're gonna have to go out and do, okay, first they're gonna research that, then I'm gonna do this, then I'm gonna do that, whatever it may be. And that's what I would hope they would write up and bring back. So this thing is only gonna get bigger,
Mhm.
but
This is
but
just the plan.
we'll only
This
be
is the
working
report.
on little
Yeah.
pieces of it.
Yeah, it's actually writing the
Working on
report.
pieces.
I would like to mention, I don't know, Bethany, if you've heard of this as well, but one of the things I've discussed with my boss a fair bit about in this kind of study committee is that it can often be a lot more work than we may be prepared for or
Oh, yeah.
understand. And that's why a number of study committees hire a consultant to write the report, because then it flows as one report as opposed to sectional, and they have the background knowledge, they are architectural historians or et cetera. There are currently a grant cycle open for Massachusetts municipalities specifically to hire someone to complete, two different, well, specific things, planning grant or survey grant. They're due at the end of this month. I just wanted to bring that up.
Ah,
No,
I know, it wasn't announced. I didn't get it across my desk
That's a
until
good point.
a
In
week
fact,
ago.
the other reports were done by
Mhm.
a single an organisation.
Right person. And I just want to bring that up as
No,
an
no,
option
it's a good idea.
because
Yeah.
I
it
think
can be daunting when you
Yeah,
get into the study
and-
report.
I think we noted that. I mean, they were definitely.
Yeah, so just
noted
keep in
that.
the back of our minds
Yeah.
and think about if that's
Yeah.
something you want to.
Well, and some of us have friends that might be interested in working with us or something like
Right,
this.
right. There are other options.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to
No, no.
discount the fact that we could write it, but understand that there's a lot to bite off.
It
It
is,
will probably take us longer than it will take a
yeah,
professional who's doing this justice.
it does it every day.
so probably the grant that's available by the end of this month, you know, that,
The application will be
it-
due by the end of this month.
I think that we're jumping the gun on that one.
Well, I mean, what I'd suggest is that we just take a look at what the grant would require us
Okay.
to do. Yeah. I'm not sure if you know.
And
that.
who would submit for that grant then? The town would do that?
Officially, it would be the town of Newbury.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they have no grant writer, I guess.
Well, we would write that grant.
Yeah, certainly.
Okay. Good point.
Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up
Yeah,
as an option.
I have a feeling writing a grant is gonna be easier than writing this.
Yeah, this is granular.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's granular,
It
so,
is.
yeah.
I'm certainly happy to help write the grant. I have some experience
Right.
doing that. It's probably,
I figure you did, so.
I wouldn't, I mean, I'm a little bit new to the project, so I'd love to work with other people to do that, but I'm not sure how I've never written a municipal grant, so I'm not sure what that process looks like from the town.
Yeah, and it's, let's see, it's Massachusetts Historical Commission who is offering the grant, so people who know what we're doing.
Good. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, and should be noted. Okay. Preliminary draft. Should we go through it?
I think we should.
So we're in the study plan now.
Right.
Okay.
Which Lon's kindly put down in great detail.
Joy and I met and discussed it for about 5 hours one afternoon. Wine. But, yeah. Shh.
I'm gonna make this whole thing easier.
I found some time.
So I saw in the newspaper that there's something at the Governor's Academy on October the 23rd, and I believe it's the history of this area. So I would like to go to that. I can give everyone more information.
Can you?
I'm going.
Yeah. You're going?
It's
Yeah, I'm
my
gonna go, yeah.
Well,
That's my event. That's me.
Oh, that's you, yeah, I saw that in the paper and I said, oh, that's wonderful.
3 of us from the
Yeah.
Historic Commission are going.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful. It's a little bit less about, I mean, it certainly will inform this conversation. It's not a straight history. It's much more sort of looking at the Great Marsh from art and
Right,
indigenous
the
people
Great
and-
Marsh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's not as, it won't be a comprehensive kind of overview of history, but it will certainly give you some, I mean, one of the things that I think will be useful, there's a speaker coming to speak about how common land worked in the 17th century, and that's that's a kind of a thorny concept, even for me, who've been looking at it for many years, to sort of think about land as common space. So it'll be interesting. I don't think it won't provide the sort of overarching narrative of the history of the area that we might want.
No, but
It's
it'll
good background.
inform,
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a
Yeah.
fabulous conference.
Yeah.
I can
And
imagine,
the
yeah.
food's incredible.
Oh, yeah. One of our Historic Commission people just wrote up something on the early indigenous populations here. And he said he would write us we'll tell him how many words to make it, and he'll boil that down for this part of the report. He'll put something
Wonderful.
together for us, so that's, yeah, because he's got all the facts in his mind right now.
Great.
Because he just finished that up. So that's one thing we won't have to do. He'll do
Now,
that
he wrote a
section.
book, right? Did he write a book about it?
No, just a report.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, teens, 15, 13 pages, something like this, whatever it is.
Great.
And
Good resource.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good resource,
Right.
because he did a lot of research to put this together.
I've reached out to the lady who did a talk about the Abenaki who lived in the area. And she hasn't come back to me yet, but she's covered this area.
Just,
With, and I asked her with specific reference to were there any, within the documentation that she worked on, any references to any settlements in what would be today called the Lower Green.
Is this Christine Malpica?
So,
Is this Christine Malpica?
yeah. Who seemed very knowledgeable on the subject matter, so.
I knew she'd be a good addition to the committee.
yeah.
So,
Rich has done something more regional.
right, yes, she was
Yeah,
quite specific.
And the Merrimack Valley Indigenous historian is coming to the conference. Christoph Strobel is the.
I think it's quite important, I think, to get to the MHC, that if there is stuff dating back even further, it's sort
Absolutely.
of its relevance, it rings
Yeah,
more
it's-
important.
Yeah.
And I will say, I haven't seen anything documented in the Lower Green, but I don't even know what area we're covering yet fully. So,
Right.
I mean,
Right,
Old
what
Town Hill
are
for
some
sure, and then some, islands.
I mean, there's always been a rumour that there's on the hill at the top was an Indian burial ground.
You're talking about the trustees?
Yeah, on the trustees, but that's just hearsay.
Really? It's not proven?
I don't know, I haven't seen anything, but then I haven't done the research like previous.
Right,
but,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, from previous meetings I had
Thought, yes.
assumed that it was
And
archaeologically
again, it's
proven.
important because we're doing the fact check effectively,
Yeah,
because there's a lot of things, my house is aged this,
Right.
and it's actually, you find out it's not, for whatever reason.
Big
Our
common.
job to Massachusetts Historic Commission is to do the whole fact check
Yeah.
system.
I think that when you're looking at the Indigenous history, I think it's great that there are multiple people that can look at it, because it is sort of, in a lot of ways, it's new
Yeah.
scholarship. Obviously it's been done before, but a lot of previous historians have relied on sort of shady
white accounts.
evidence, yeah, and evidence that just from disturbed sites and various things like that. So
Most of the writing in the books is something that came out about mid-1800s. It seems everybody's Courier's book, and what's her name, Smith, and a couple of them came out in that short period
Ophelia
of time.
Vale Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Courier in my work has been a little bit more reliable, but Coffin's great too, but
Coffin.
Euphemia Vale Smith, God bless her, she's out.
Really?
I don't find her, she's a very good storyteller, but I don't find her, I sometimes start with her and then I just verify through other sources. But I think Courier and Coffin, they just often you don't have the proof. So I think they're good places to start, and then they have to be double checked.
Ellie, I believe that Madison had been working with, or had been doing research on indigenous peoples of this area.
Yeah,
And I believe it was she who brought up the Native American burial ground on Old Town
Oh,
Hill.
really?
She brought it up,
okay.
and yeah,
I'll see if, because she didn't pass on to me any files when she left, but I will see if I can get access or ask her successor.
Right.
Or
And
stand
then,
in for
you know,
successor.
just as hearsay, when my daughter was in Girl Scouts, they would, go on Old Town Hill and they were told that there was an Indian burial ground. I don't know the location of it though.
Trustees should have a landscape report that would include any archaeology that have been done there. It's probably on their website, honestly.
I've seen
No.
Madison wrote the article I've read.
Oh, that's right, she wrote
On
the
salt
articles.
marshes.
Yeah.
Salt marshes.
Yeah, oh, that's right. Anyway,
It's not worth it.
okay. Right,
Check that, let me check.
So, on the detail, right? I sort of feel we ought to start getting assignments.
First, I think we should go through it and approve it, and then we can start giving us.
Yeah.
Point.
Yeah.
We
Thank
don't
you.
approve something that,
Should
or
approve it.
sign something that's
Yeah.
not there.
Yeah,
Right.
should read it first.
Good,
Okay.
good
We'll
job.
go through it first, and we'll approve the other one as well. Do the whole.
So these bullets underneath each subtask, you know, as far as I know, maybe there should be 10 under each one. I don't know. This is what I pulled out of the other reports.
Other reports, yeah.
Yeah.
So you've effectively.
Yeah. Like number
I
one,
mean-
when we determine what should go in this section, right?
I mean, I think if we end up approving it today, I mean, if some further items do come up.
Oh, yeah, it's
so
amendable.
We can amendable.
Yeah, it's not really stone.
So, but as guidance to start with.
So I'm assuming that, I mean, I've had a chance to look through it, but that was a couple weeks ago, so it's a bit rough in my mind, and I don't know if everyone else has had a chance to go through it granularly. So would it help if we did and revised in person together and then approve it, so that we have an
Yep.
approved one thing? Okay.
Yeah, we want to.
So we're on what, subtask 1A?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so I guess the question there is, what's that missing? It's pretty general, saying conduct research into the setting and the history, but is there anything that we want to put a bullet in and say we don't want to leave this out?
So hold on first, with the 3 subsections of task 1, which is preparing background information for the introduction, we have Newbury Regional History and Setting, discussion of an LHD and process of what that is, and then discussion of local Lower Green LHD.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any other
but I see,
subsection?
the way that's broken out, I could see one group might do 1A,
Yeah.
No,
another
sure,
group
sure.
might do
No,
1.
she's just
Right,
saying,
I know.
yeah.
Is,
Yeah,
is
but
there
that-
another?
but
Is
that's
there
what-
one D that we
Yeah.
isn't labeled quite yet? But
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
not
that
saying
this
you
was.
should do that, I'm just saying
I
that.
think that was good. Okay. If there's anyone else have a subtask 1D to propose.
No.
Okay.
History.
Okay, so yeah, the history and regional setting. I kind of think this is probably the most important section,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
The others, I mean, Robin, do you know if in for instance that example of another study report, how granular do they get into the local historic district process?
It varies.
Okay. Because that seems like public information that we also already have on our website. It's on our
I mean, some
like
of it.
to-do list or
Some
checklist.
of it
It's
is
on our
merely,
website.
this is Lexington, right? We know Lexington is what, it's just one page, it's not a lot.
Oh, and this is okay. That's
Just-
the introduction.
Yeah, local historic just explains, a lot of them, and they vary from each one.
But do they go into the whole process of what and
No.
local historic district means
That's,
once
that's,
it's there?
on the first one, I
Yeah,
think
the-
we need to make a case that this
Right.
region
So
is
we're-
worth
it's
saving.
worth sa- yes, that's what it's the sales pitch in a way
Yeah.
that we're saying the reason
Why are we here?
in the
Why?
first place.
So what's
And
it?
theirs is quite short. I did have another one. I can't remember.
Shall I read the précis that
But that's pretty well says what we're.
so I don't know if anyone has looked at the précis that I did. I'm sorry I'm pronouncing it in the French way. I speak French, but it's precise.
I appreciate it. It sounds
Yeah.
so good.
Precise.
Foie
Foie so shall I read this?
Yes.
Okay.
Because that's effectively.
All right, now, and this is just a draft, so, please feel free, oh, you didn't say this, or you said too much of that, or, whatever. Newbury's Lower Green is one of the few remaining examples of historic American colonial landscapes with cohesive 18th century architecture. The Lower Green, with its proximity to the river, has been an important location for Native American settlement, common land of 17th century European colonists, site of the first meeting house and burial ground, training ground for early American soldiers, a neighborhood school, and in modern times as open space and playing fields for local children.
Got that corrected.
Yet this important historic community resource is unprotected from the pressure of future major development opportunities. The Lower Green Historic District Study Committee seeks to gauge community interest in establishing a local historic district to add a layer of protection to this important cultural asset by limiting incongruous construction to the built environment adjacent to the Lower Green.
So that's the sort of like opening statement, which I think is,
Yeah, I think
I
that's
think it's
very,
pretty good, yeah.
that's very well written.
Which is, yeah,
I didn't really, I mean, I looked up how to write a précis and what should I, you know, and I cut this out, I cut that out, but, you know, if I'm putting too much information or not enough, or, you know, like, you know, for the history of the area, Old Town Hill is geologically important for the area. You know, it's one of the main reasons, you know, right by the river. It was a hill, so it was easily defended. You know, that feature, I think, you know, you can even go into geological, you know, statement about that area, you know.
I think this is a good opening paragraph for
the
that
whole
section, and then you'd get into the geology if you wanted to, or get into the early history or whatever. But this is a great
I think it is.
opening
See,
sentence.
there's sort of,
It sets the
there's
stage for what
if
we're
you read
doing.
the opening segment there, you know,
Part of the
setting
executive
it
summary.
slightly different, but it's pretty good.
Pardon?
It's the executive summary.
Yeah,
Part of the
yeah.
executive summary.
Here's
That's
my
right.
comment.
Yeah.
Just give it.
And then all the rest will flow from.
Yeah, that's a 4.
And then, yes.
Okay.
Okay,
So
yes.
I hope this is okay. I'm annotating. I'm adding into
Sure.
our study plan as we go.
Oh,
just
cool.
live.
Certainly,
Great.
wonderful.
I think
You
come down
keep
to
that, I've
setting
made
in
notes.
history
Oh,
Yeah.
is we try and, you know, not forget we're doing pre-settlement history as well, you know, so.
Yeah. So
It's history, normally we think of history of when we all arrived.
colonial.
Colonial
So
history.
we can start geological.
That's what I was
Indigenous.
thinking,
Yep.
because you have the geological, I think
It's
is it a dolmen? What is the name of
It's a
the,
moraine. at
a
the top.
moraine, a
Yeah,
glacial
so
moraine?
Glacial moraine on the
It,
top.
but
That's why
the,
it's so high,
the,
terminal moraine.
it's, I think it's called a dolmen,
It might be, yes, it might have,
yeah.
so, we'll.
So, but
We'll
it's
research
the,
that.
we'll-
yeah, we'll research that.
Yeah.
And then also the proximity to the river.
Yeah. So geological, environmental.
Right.
We can make that kind of a section.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so why is it worth saving? Chronologically, we will discuss the history of the geological and environmental factors, the indigenous history, the colonial history, and then modern history.
Mhm.
Any other major?
well,
Era.
the modern history is that it's, all the buildings around the green have been there, you know, since some of them in the late 1700s. So
Right,
it's,
okay,
so that, if that's what you call modern history. but-
Modern, by modern, I'm meaning
No.
post-colonial, so
Right.
after
Colonial.
1776.
Okay, yeah, all right, okay.
When we are, you
And,
know,
and
through the 19th
Right.
century.
50 years from now will not be a good time to start preserving it,
Right, right,
is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Right, because it's amazing it's lasted this long.
modern.
Yeah.
Post-colonial.
That's why I said it's one of the few remaining examples
Yeah.
of historic American colonial landscape with cohesive 18th century architecture.
Okay.
Okay.
So you've added geological.
Yeah, geological, Native American,
Yeah.
colonial.
Okay, the point, why are we here in the first place, is that regarding how the study committee was formed? Is that what is meant by that?
Right, well, yeah, how did we get here? Well, we got here from the history of houses being bulldozed.
Would that maybe
That's
go in
what, that's what
subsection?
kind of started this.
Would that maybe go in subsection 1C, where we discussed the Lower Green Local Historic District specifically?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, where we're going to.
So where are
oh,
we
okay,
right now?
then, okay, I didn't know, you're in B, okay.
No, I'm still in 1A. I'm in
Oh, 1A?
subtask 1A, bullet point 2. Well, it's now 2. It was 1. But why are we here in the first place?
And where are you gonna put that?
Subsection 1C.
Okay, you jumped to 1C, okay.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's what that
Yeah,
described, the
I-
reason, justification for creating this.
Yeah, I think subsection 1A
Yeah.
should just be about
Yeah,
Newbury itself.
right.
Can I ask, so in 1A, are we looking at describing the importance of the community as in general, or are we looking specifically for the area covered by the Lower Green Historic District, potentially?
No, I think we should do a regional discussion. And then, and with, you know, specific sections maybe on the green itself, on Old Town Hill, the river and what that, you could put stuff like that.
I'm just thinking in the overview, so
Yeah.
so I'm, if you told me I need to write a page about the significance of Newbury as, as a whole,
Yeah,
I think it would be a different thing than if you wanted me to write you a position paper on why Lower Green itself is important,
well,
That's a good point.
somewhere else in this outline, we described the study area is gonna be within the visual landscape of the Lower Green and approaches to the Lower Green on the two main roads.
Okay.
I think it's
High
from
Road
general
and
to-
Newman and Cottage.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's the
from
approaches
general to
and
specific.
the nearby thing. That's what we're talking about for the local historic
Yeah.
district. The significance of the area is important too.
So I think it's a good point though, is we are assuming right now, our audience does not know anything about Newbury in general. MHC, Massachusetts Historical Commission, who this report is going to, we are not going to assume that they know the history of Newbury. And so starting with, like you say, a general history of like
Right.
all of Newbury,
Big
sort of
picture.
as a town itself, and
Well,
then
that is an early community.
Oh, then
Yeah.
then
And
you'd
then
you'd start with this, and then you'd move to the Merrimack River, and then the moves out to Byfield and Westonbury. Because that's kind of what happened over.
well, right, but saying here's Newbury, and then moving into and here's the Lower Green.
Yes,
So kind of an introduction to Newbury, focusing on then the area that we're looking at.
yes,
But yeah, I think it's important to at least introduce Newbury
right.
in general.
Okay, but you introduced that Newbury was
Huge.
Old Town Newbury in the beginning.
Yes,
Okay,
Yeah.
it was.
so would you start with that and then expand out, rather than start out with that which didn't exist
Well, I
at the
think if
beginning
you were,
and expand
if
it?
you were gonna say, I'm just thinking, I'm sort of thinking of a possible paragraph in my head. If you were gonna talk about Newbury as being, very important founding town in Massachusetts Bay, you'd be talking about the whole town. You wouldn't be describing West Newbury and Newburyport.
No.
I mean, you might, in a sentence, say this much larger area later became Newbury, West Newbury, whatever, but I think you can talk about it, that whole very important community beginning in this place.
Yes,
Yeah.
So, but you still would need to do some describing of the larger
Yeah,
community?
but
Yes.
I think you described the settlement first, when they came here, all the background of that. And then, the reason they went over to Byfield was because they had power over there. They had the rivers, so they could put in the dams, and they had manufacturing and things developed over there. And people had moved out to
Well,
Merrimack.
I think,
something
I'm not sure
else.
I'm describing what I'm saying as well as I should. I guess my point is, if I'm asking the question, why is preserving the Lower Green so important? To me, it is in part because it is the first
Yeah.
settlement that, it is the first area where this much larger community, and the much larger community became incredibly important for a variety of reasons. We're not trying to preserve the whole
No.
thing, but,
No,
Right.
thank
So
God.
we're
Because
yeah.
otherwise it may sort of divert and tend, well, why aren't you preserving Byfield or what? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we keep
Yeah.
it focused on
So we're
Just not area.
we're situating Lower Green in the context of Greater
context,
Newbury,
Yeah.
and then focusing on this area. Okay. Okay, and that how to do that will be something that whoever takes that section
That
1A will
section.
figure out how to do.
Yeah.
But
Both.
okay, just in general.
Right.
Okay, and then we talk about why it's worth saving from these different lenses that we've discussed. But,
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to delete the point that says determine what should go into this section because that's what we're doing right now.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, right.
Conduct research into the setting and history. We are outlining that as well, so I feel
Mhm.
we can delete that. Yeah, so I guess anything else that should go into this section? 1A.
And you've put in pre-colonial and
Colonial, post-colonial, indigenous. Yeah, I don't want to reference it as pre-colonial because again, that looks at indigenous history through the lens of colonialism and not as standing on their
I
own.
suppose that does.
So what did you just say, Ellie? I was.
Indigenous history as opposed to pre-colonial
Pre-
history.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Okay. Right. Next.
Okay, so that's all for section 1A?
Yeah.
Just the basics, the facts,
Yep.
why it's important? Ooh,
Yep.
maybe ending, nope, that's crazy. But there may be like a statement of significance, a summary,
I mean, that's
Yeah.
what do they call it in school? Closing sentence? Whenever you end a paragraph with that sums up your argument?
Clinch it.
Yeah.
Clinch the
Yeah, something like that.
discussion.
Yeah.
There it is. And the way it needs to be written is, so that just before they read, here's the clinching sentence, they need to have that go through their mind, and when they read it, they say, yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right.
that was my conclusion exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, subtask 1B. Prepare a discussion of the local historic district and local historic district process. I think this can be a fairly short section.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Because like we say,
Because it-
Yeah.
Especially, we need to
just the
describe
factual
what it is
processes.
and what it is not. That's the important part.
Yeah, okay.
So we're not scaring the pants off everybody.
I really like the way that you phrase this, to protect an area's waning architectural integrity. I really like that. Did you steal that from something? Well, whoever you stole it from.
Maybe not exactly, but it may be lifted.
I like that turn of phrase.
Yeah, I read that and said, yes.
Yep. Okay.
In this section, so we're defining the general purpose of the local historic district and bylaw, which I kind of think is the same thing. But then we will define the general process of creating a local historic district or the process that goes into effect after local historic district is created. No? Okay, okay, just to clarify.
That in one sentence, basically
Yeah, yeah.
implement the bylaw, right? I mean, is what you do.
Right, but going in afterwards, there will be a historical commission that will review these
Right.
things.
Oh, yeah, a few sentences on
Yeah,
that.
okay,
That's, basically, that's the, what is the general purpose and process?
Right, but
To-
sorry,
to-
that's the process after there is a local historic district. Are we at all defining the process that it took us to create a local historic district?
Okay, we need to describe what comes up to the bylaws passed, so what gets to that point,
Yeah, okay,
and
both of
then what that means.
Okay.
I'd put most of my effort into coming up to the bylaw and not so much going on
Okay.
beyond that. Because I think you can do that in a paragraph or two. That's not complicated.
No, it's not.
What's complicated is what are you doing? How do you get there?
Right.
That's
Okay.
that's the 2-year process.
Okay.
And the hurdles it's got to go through are just amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone happy with section 1B?
Yes.
Yeah, the only thing I can see in that is, the only question in my mind yet is how detailed will that be?
Right.
And that'll be up to the people that write it up. And if it doesn't have enough, somebody will make a comment.
Okay, 1C, discussion of the Lower Green Local Historic District. And this is why are we here in the first place, that bullet point that I moved from 1A. That is a brief summary of the pressures on the area that led to the creation of this study committee. So
Lost a couple of barns, we lost a
context,
homestead,
contextual,
our
why,
homestead,
the fact that it is
yeah.
endangered in some respects. Okay. Endangerment. Okay. Describe the reason and justification of creating this, okay, so that, okay,
This, are
So-
you still on the first bullet?
no, well, in yours, yes,
Yeah,
describe the
the second
reason.
bullet, it's, I don't think that should be anything more than a paragraph, because we discussed the process up in
In
one
the
B.
one above, yeah, so
But
we can
just
delete that
so
one.
how did the five of us get here?
Well, that's why we're here in the first place.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna delete that bullet point, because it's redundant now. And then the reason, describe the reason and justification of creating the Lower Green Local Historic District. When we define the significance of the Lower Green, aren't we going to do that in section 1A?
Right. I think that's
I mean, I
just a
think
bit
this
more
is-
detail on the
yeah.
first bit, but it's
Yeah.
effectively repeating it.
Right, we wanna make sure we're
So you think
clear.
1A is gonna have that much detail in it?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's setting the
It
scene.
doesn't matter where we put it,
But-
Right,
that would be
it will
one
be
way.
in there, yeah.
We
It sort
could
of
put it
sets the
there and
scene.
then you just refer back to it.
Yeah, I think
As
section
needed.
1C is going, in my mind at least, is fairly short as well, like section 1B, just to kind of lay the scene of
So pare down 1C and put a lot of that back
in
into
1A.
1A instead.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop these guys up here. Yeah, okay. Regional benefits. Okay.
So the second clear bullet in 1C should probably stay here, because that's the one that talks about the Lower Green
Process.
Local Historic District and what kicked that off.
Right, yes,
So
agreed.
so that second bullet would stay.
Yeah, prepare
Okay.
discussion of the preservation
Rather
need
initial.
and recent events. And then, yeah, actually, that one is kind of the
Okay.
whole, yeah.
Yeah, and I think then also the next bullet, the
I
clear
agree.
bullet would stay.
Yep, and also
Because
the
that's
final
when we
one.
were talking with people, we had a meeting at Robin's house. I
Right,
mean,
before
very
pushing the
early
select
on.
board. Yeah, that's just a, yeah, what were the pressures and why was this committee created? Yeah.
Demolition delay bylaw,
Okay,
sorry.
and then describe the community and regional benefits of creating
Yeah.
this.
And that should probably stay.
Okay.
So
All right.
basically, it's the significance determination, we should move to 1A.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so define the study. Oh, okay, so this is one of the questions I had is this necessary to outline the steps that Massachusetts Historical Commission is asking us to go through?
I don't know. Just, at some point, we need to make a statement that we didn't dream this all up ourselves.
So,
We sort of
We're
covered
we're
that.
following we're following a
sort of-
very strict outline of
But
what
it's
we
kind
gotta
of-
do.
it's kind of already defined in the general process of creating a local historic district in the section
Okay,
above.
Yeah.
so we could move that up there.
Yeah,
It
I mean,
should
it's
be.
already there, I'm just gonna delete it because I already have it up there.
Okay, got it.
But yeah. And
Wait,
also,
where do you have it, Ellie? I'm sorry.
in section 1B, the general process of
Define.
creating a local historic district.
Okay, and referring to the fact that we're using Mass
Mass-
Historical,
Yeah,
okay, process.
and whether we need to
Okay.
actually outline every bullet point that they have in their
Okay.
large manual, I
I'm
don't know.
gonna put an arrow moving
Yeah.
that third black bullet up
Mhm.
Okay,
to 1B.
Yep.
that makes sense.
Yeah, although it's kind of there already.
That makes sense.
Okay.
And then the final bullet point there is discussing the area under consideration, our, yeah, I like that word, or that
Right.
Yeah.
area under consideration, our study area,
Yeah.
if you will. So is this the first, we would have our map?
Yeah, that was my question.
Yeah, does it go there? Does it
How
go-
are, because
Fine.
lower down, there's the layout and the discuss the initial walkabout and area under consideration.
Mm.
If we're talking about the area under consideration in 1C,
You don't need it.
Yeah,
we
I
don't
agree.
need it again.
No.
So
I
that's,
think you.
Well, I think it should maybe.
You could put the map up there. You could show the cloud, this is the cloud map, right?
right,
That,
Mhm.
and that's,
Right.
so in other words,
It's
that
just our study
determined what we walked.
right.
It's not what we're gonna study, it's what we walked. And from that walk and reading and preparing the stuff up front, we have now defined the study area to include, here, approaches,
That
whatever.
might be misleading if we show the whole thing, because that might be misleading.
That they see that as a study area rather than.
Yes.
Okay,
That might be
Yeah.
misleading.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
that was our process, we don't have to necessarily describe it.
Like if
No.
we show the map of the cloud area that we walked, that's not necessarily what we're considering as the area to protect.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think in section 1A, if we need to put a map, it would maybe be at the end of that map of, end of that section of saying, well, we
Oh,
definitely
okay,
want
that's
maps
a
in
good
that
idea.
section.
Way
But
up
just
in
saying,
front.
here is, if we're talking about the lower green, put on a map.
Yeah.
Say then, this is the general area cloud map of what we're looking
Yeah.
at. Because it feels kind of out of place sticking it
because
with
Yeah.
the
on
section.
that
That was
walk-
my question
On that
too,
walk,
yeah.
we determined not to go
And then-
past the bridge. We went over there and looked at the cemetery over there, but we determined, no, we'll stop at the
But it
bridge.
doesn't really matter what we did on our walk. What matters
No.
is what area we're actually studying,
Yeah,
right?
and I think it would be misleading to have, that a
But what it-
huge section.
Yeah.
We should say, here's what we considered,
Yeah,
here's what we boiled
and
it
here's
down.
why we considered
Right.
it, and we talk
Yeah.
So
about
they-
what we considered
Yeah.
in section 1.
That's why it goes to section 1.
Yeah.
Because this is why we considered.
Yeah,
Right,
Got it.
so, I'm gonna, yeah, I'm
Okay.
just gonna say, forget about our walk, because also I wasn't on it.
Right.
So, I don't remember it. I'm gonna put it up at the end with statement of significance, and this is like, it's like an appendix question, honestly, but anyway. Okay, section, task
Number
2,
task 1.
we're done with task 1, this is only a 2-page thing, guys, it's only 2 pages.
Interesting, this one, the map doesn't appear until fairly relatively before.
Yeah.
So,
Well, but study area, not proposed
Correct,
area.
correct.
Yeah, different things.
Okay.
Okay, task 2.
yeah.
Task 2 is
Yeah.
our methodology.
Yeah.
Okay, so subtask 2A, introduction, that what processes we followed.
Yep.
Defining a study area, holding information meetings in the 3 villages, neighborhoods. I'm just gonna change that right now.
Yeah. Now, see, this is the study plan.
So, resource.
And the study plan is to prepare this discussion for the report.
Right, yeah, this
Yeah.
is just a basic what
But
processes did
it
we
has
do?
to be
What were our
done
methodologies?
to have that section done.
Okay, yep, 2A, I mean, that seems
Yeah.
fairly self-explanatory.
Sure, yeah.
We'll add more as we realize we did other things.
Whoever gets, raises their hand on that'll.
Yeah, honestly,
we'll
that's
come up-
kind of one of
we'll
the
spend a lot
things
more
you do
time on
last.
it than I did.
Like you write last, because you don't know what methodologies you necessarily use until you're done. Okay, then 2B, determine the Lower Green Local Historic District study area boundaries.
That's the
Right,
study.
now yes.
Define the criteria that we will use.
And those are general.
Yeah, what the Lower
Approaches,
Green
so
is,
they-
views and approachings from the
I
Lower
mean,
Green.
all you have to do is get a map and you can see there's a crossroads.
This is all very physical
So
though. I
that's
think
the
there-
approaches.
Well, I think there should also be a bullet point for the historical narrative. Not just the physical of what we see today, but based on the history that we did, the research that we will do, what then does this area historically mean? Like, what is its definition and why, you know? Not just we go out and walk it today and what we see.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
historical,
Just put that
Narrative.
there as another
Yeah.
subgroup.
Yeah, I don't think
yeah.
you couldn't pin me to the wall right now.
Yeah.
and say, this is our study area. I have no
Well,
idea
right,
what
I'm
it's
just
gonna
talking
be.
about the criteria, just the
Yeah,
criteria that
right.
we're gonna use. Okay.
I don't know what to include and what not to include, yeah.
so
Is everyone-
define criteria used. You're saying like the first bullet should be the historical significance.
Yeah, I mean,
Is
I'm
that-
not gonna
yeah.
prioritize them right now,
Okay.
but yes, the
Yeah, okay.
historical narrative
Well,
of
yeah.
significance definitely should
Right.
be one of those criteria. Yeah.
I mean, if we,
And maybe, like,
if the approach is to the lower
integrity.
green, are we gonna go a mile down Newman Road or 500 yards?
Right, because it's at the end of the
Yeah,
day, at
but-
some point, it's gonna be something that we have to justify.
Right.
So, just thinking of what those criteria we might be to justify certain decisions. Okay,
Number two, should that be here or not?
no, I don't think we need it.
Okay.
Anyone else have an opinion on that, though? Bullet point 2, meaning discuss the initial walkabout.
No.
Yeah, it seems kind of,
Are we gonna discuss it anywhere?
the actual walk.
I think we could mention it in passing, that,
That's what I
I mean,
meant.
it's
Yeah.
one of our methodologies, so
Yeah.
we just say it was
Yeah.
one of the things we did is
Yeah.
physically walk
Yeah.
around the area. Yeah, but, yeah, alright, what were we going to follow?
Yeah, because not everybody lives right here. Well, 3 of us do.
And the 3 who went on that walk, yeah.
Yeah.
Physically walk around area. Okay. Define the study area. So this we are moving because we already have decided that the study, like the cloud map, should be in section 1.
Yeah,
So-
this will be the study area. This will be a hard line, and we study everything that's in that line. We don't study anything outside that line.
Is that different from the area of, area under consideration that we,
Yeah,
We'll outline.
because we're already not gonna do the cemetery over there.
we're good.
And we considered it in the beginning. And we
Oh, I
haven't
see.
figured out a way to include the
Okay.
cemetery up this way yet, but
Okay.
it probably should be included. But
Okay, so the area under consideration,
like if we have to get descriptions of houses that are in the study area, if you're on this side of the line, we're not gonna get a description of your house. If you're on this side of the study line and within the study area, we're gonna get a description of the house. Or, I'm just pulling that out of the air. That's what
Okay.
makes it-
okay.
So we only study
Okay,
things
so
in the
it's
study area.
narrowing it down, from our area of under consideration.
Just, that's how I'm using it, but that isn't the way we have to use it.
Okay. Okay.
Because the study area may not be the local historic district.
Oh, yeah, no, this isn't
Right.
the,
Yeah.
yeah, those for mountains, that's the last
Yes.
map.
Yeah.
It's more, I'm trying to figure out why, or the difference between the area of consideration that we will cloud map basically based on our historical research, and then the area of study, like why those two would be different.
yeah, that's good.
That's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yep. That's good,
Except that
good feedback.
they could be different if, for instance, we're looking at the area from a geological environmental perspective, and then today, maybe that same land plots or land areas no longer has those things.
Well, there's a portion of the agricultural or unbuilt landscape
Yeah.
that is already preserved. So that would be the trustees' land and, you know, the greenbelt land.
Greenbelt,
Essex County,
a lot
yeah.
of- some of the places
Yeah.
have conservation easements on it.
Right,
For the property too.
those are still part of our study area.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
And our area under consideration,
yes,
Yeah.
Correct.
yes.
so they're the same.
I think that, but you're saying that the area under consideration was that first walk that you did that was bigger than you ended up with as the study area, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, we don't have a study area yet that I know of.
Okay,
We don't have a hard line drawn on our map.
I'm gonna give you a hypothetical question here. You have a study area, it's everything based on our historical narrative, including post-colonial, but historical narrative and history that we think is the Lower Green, is the important center of the Lower Green, Old Newbury, that.
That's in the study area.
That's the
No, I'm
area
not-
under, that's the area under consideration.
Okay, that's what I'm waiting to hear
Okay.
what you're saying.
Then,
Yeah.
we start doing more of our research into more of the post-colonial, so what's happened more recently, you know, plots being divided, there's tons of stuff that happened on a day-to-day, right, is past, say, arbitrary date, the 1860s, Now we're getting into more, that's not a bad, that's a terrible date, 1950, of maybe things that we wouldn't consider historical for one reason or another, or want or feel that we should protect for some reason. You know, you had this is not gonna have happened, but a burial ground that we think was historically significant because it's a burial ground. And then 50 years ago it was moved, bulldozed, all the headstones removed, and houses were put on it. Maybe that is no longer in our study area, but it was in our area of consideration.
Right.
That's like one of the only examples I can think of why those two areas might be different is new development. The land that new development on may have been part of a historical house site that was important and then subdivided later and built up.
So here's a question. So for an example, Joe Story's house down on High Road, right next to the burial ground. That old house.
We are using, just remember to use numbers,
I don't know.
address numbers.
No idea what
Because
that
that means nothing to me
Sorry.
anyway,
Right.
so.
No,
No
I
idea.
don't know
what
any, but
Anyway,
the house that's falling apart next to the burial ground.
Okay.
Okay. So when we did our walk, we were considering it. Okay. When we're then, so now are we going to include it in the study area? I don't know yet.
Okay.
We did,
So
but
let's
I think
maybe-
we've kind of decided to try to have the cemetery in it.
Let's maybe table the discussion of whether a study area is going to be different from our area of consideration until we actually do the historical research. How's that sound? Because it may be
because
different.
otherwise we're talking in such.
It's hypotheticals that we
Well,
just don't know. Okay,
Well,
so we
and
have,
I've got another question. So what if within our study area, because you're not going to take one house and say, oh, we don't consider that worth studying or whatever because it's too modern or too new or whatever. Do we need to protect the site? Because that house from the 40s has a given look. A house put up in 2030 is going to look significantly different, sitting in that amongst all these other older houses. The one from 1940 doesn't look that out of whack, but one from 2030 was going to look real strange there, possibly. Or are we going to? Do we need to protect the spot?
right, so what I think we've come to the conclusion of is, at this point in our research, the area of consideration is the study area. Those are one and the same until we determine otherwise.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
until we eliminate.
Until we actually
something.
have
Until we
facts.
eliminate.
All
Because
something.
otherwise
Okay.
Yeah.
we're
Okay.
potentially tying
Alright.
ourselves up before we've got going.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's,
So
I'm gonna,
I
I'm,
think change that.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
okay,
question, so what about the burial ground on the other side of the river?
I don't know, we don't know,
We-
we don't know, it's in our area of consideration at this point.
It is?
Right.
It
Okay,
is.
Okay,
And that's all that we
Okay.
know at this point.
Has to be.
Okay, so I'm gonna change that bullet point then, the last bullet point of 2B, to reconfirm study area.
Yes.
And we will readdress that when we get to that point.
yeah.
Okay. But I'm gonna reconfirm area of no, the study area. Just gonna leave it, I'm leaving it, the terminology is just, we know what it means. Okay.
Right.
Okay, next bullet point, 2C. Describe the information exchange meetings and their results, essentially. And villages is not correct, right? It's
Right.
neighborhoods.
Right.
I had areas, but I believe we said
And we-
neighborhoods.
Neighborhoods
Yeah.
is
I
good.
think because someone said is.
Yeah, we went into the whole
We,
why it's not a village debate. Okay, so we don't need to explain the local historic district in the process. We don't need to go into that again. We don't need to discuss what a local historic district is and what it's not, because we've already done that.
right.
We don't need to summarize the community benefits, because we've already done that earlier. Basically, all we're gonna need is the results of these,
Correct.
yeah. Discuss.
Where will we have summarized the community benefits? Way up here?
It will be in, yeah,
Okay,
up in section 1.
okay.
Probably of under 2B, 1B, or 1C.
Are we on
Depending.
2C right now?
We are. So, do we want to add into this section what happened with the, like the surveys? Can we broaden this section to be
Oh,
community
sure, why
outreach
not?
in general?
Yeah. Sounds great.
So information exchange
This
meetings.
is really a summary of our outreach.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, summary of community outreach.
Yeah, so all we have to do is tell them what we did for outreach, and I guess we could, and then summarize some of the results.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's all we need.
yeah. So that's the bullet point, yeah. We'll say summarize information, exchange meetings in all 3 Newbury neighborhoods. And summarize results of both, because we will be having another
Yeah, we've got, well, after we,
survey,
we did, yeah,
surveys.
right.
Okay, cool, that's 2C then,
May I also bring up a point?
certainly.
There was a movement to save the Lower Green, which was a property that was purchased and given to Greenbelt in perpetuity. This was in 2006, 8,
I
2008.
got here in 8, so probably 9.
Anyway, there was a videographer who did an excellent video on why we should save the Lower Green and what the historical significance is. I think that we could use that in our community outreach. It's on YouTube, and it's Save the Lower Green Newbury, something like that. I looked it up.
I don't know, it's on
And
my
I,
computer.
yeah, Save the Lower Green, and it's got, like fife and drum music,
Oh, yeah.
that and all. No, but it's very well done, it shows the marsh
Oh, yeah.
areas.
The person that
and-
did it does videos for National Geographic, NBC News, things like that.
Yeah.
She's really good.
It's
The
very
thing that
nice.
Joni Coote did
2009-ish.
or organised.
Yes,
She did it
yeah,
herself.
yeah. But
Save
it's,
the Lower Green.
I didn't know that.
yeah, Save the Lower Green, it's on YouTube.
Can you
And Save the Lower Green Newbury is what I typed in and I got it.
Okay,
actually?
But it's,
yeah, I'll
It's
No,
very
that-
good.
That's cool.
and I thought maybe, pardon? What?
That's cool. that
What?
It's on,
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
YouTube.
So what I was thinking is that we could either use part of it or when we present to the town at town meeting,
Will we have to get permission?
well, yeah, we would have to get permission, right?
Joni and I
Yeah,
I think
no idea.
and
possible.
The
Jim Roy
videographer.
are kind of it.
Well, yeah, the videographer.
Oh,
Her-
We would
oh,
get, we
Molly.
would get Molly's,
I don't even know if
permission.
she's mentioned, but we could certainly ask her. She
Yeah,
lives down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good.
Can
Just-
we-
If we could ask her if we could add it.
yeah, okay.
I don't
And
think she's gonna
use it
volunteer.
publicly. I mean, I know it's visibly public on YouTube,
Yeah.
but just.
No, of course,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
very good point.
Just cover
Yeah,
bases.
I don't know if she has credits for herself.
Right.
Never looked.
Okay.
As part of
Anyway.
public out, okay,
Right.
good point.
It's really good. She did a great
So
job.
look
But
back.
I thought we could
Right
use
now,
that
we're
maybe in
all time.
community outreach, excuse me,
Right.
Bethany,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, we do, we have to keep going, guys, we have
Okay,
10
yeah.
minutes left.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so we could potentially pause here actually, because we're not going to
Yeah.
get through the rest of it, and
Yeah.
also we have enough to actually start with right now.
Okay,
Right,
That's
we're
true,
not gonna start
yeah.
writing section C
Right.
first,
Well,
so,
as soon as we have a final version of this, I can go to the select board and I can go to the planning committee.
yeah, but I don't think we're gonna get a
Yeah.
finalized version done today.
Yeah, that's good.
But, so, let's pause where we are at, where are we? Section 2C.
Task 2, I thought.
We've completed section 2C, now we haven't done
Oh, we
section
didn't
2D left.
finish.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
so let's pause where we are, because we have a couple other things I think we wanna talk about today, just briefly, on our agenda. And, yeah,
Okay.
thank you for keeping us on that,
I'm
we
sorry,
just
I'm
keep
just-
going. No,
Right.
I have another meeting after this one.
Right.
oh my god.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Good job.
so I read the Plessy, do
Yeah.
we,
Mhm.
do we approve that?
I think
Yep.
we do,
Okay,
motion to approve,
so moved? All those in favor?
aye.
Aye, for the, my Plessy.
Oh, yes.
Right. Okay.
That's
Cool.
excellent.
Moving
Okay.
on.
Next on our agenda, I think, is the assignments. Do you want to assign with that?
Maybe we do it after
No, yeah, we can't do that until we finish.
after we finish this, okay? So we'll adjourn that to next time.
Would you like to add, you know, a recommendation, maybe you and I can get together and look at the grant process and
Yes,
recommend to the
Put that
group if we
down.
apply for the grant?
Wonderful.
I think we'll
Yep.
have to do that before our next meeting, so
Yeah.
I had it in our notes, or in the minutes, that
Right.
we would look at that, and we can,
Can you minute just grant?
yeah,
Just so that we've
approve
just approved
that
it.
we've approved that we will do
So
that,
Ellie
and
and
if
Bethany
feasible,
is the we?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if it's feasible, we will go ahead with that,
Right.
if we feel it's not something we can complete
We can.
by the end of the month.
Yeah, well, I think,
And if you guys need a hand, I did this
Yeah.
for 40 years.
Marvelous,
Yeah,
fantastic.
but not municipal, so that's all the,
Yeah, and I'm only on the other
used to
side
write
of the
into
grant, so I
NSF and ONR and NIH and
Elemental
government
P.
grants.
I guess we would just need to, you know, again, my question there is who does the grant actually come from? Is it us because we're now representatives of the municipality? Or is there an official body in the town?
The town may have to submit it.
I don't know,
Approve it.
yeah. Okay,
That
we
is
will look
very
at that.
important.
First I'll find the deadline, I'm pretty sure it's the end of this month.
Especially if it requires matching funds, and we haven't looked at that yet, probably.
Right, yeah, it was,
Otherwise,
yeah.
we're committing the town.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, no, I don't
To
think
spending some money.
I don't think they have a matching requirement.
Mm-mm. Okay, yeah, we will do that, and okay, motion to approve that.
If you want
To
to do a
basically
Zoom or
authorize
get
us
together,
to do
just
that.
give me a shout, and
Okay.
I'll show up.
Right.
Always find me at the museum too.
It's true. Okay, marvelous. So
okay.
tabled for this next section's tabled.
Yep. And
Always takes longer, I think it does. Okay, so I don't have any big updates on the outreach. I think I've gotten one more survey response. What we really just need to do is we really need to mail it out. Like, we can't reach the public unless we mail it, because the
Correct.
population that's actually coming to our website is just so minor. So I don't have any brainwaves on how we still doing that. I think we're still stuck on
We
the.
talked about sending it out with the tax bills at one point.
That
Yeah,
was,
but-
that was, you were supposed to look
When?
into that.
Or did I,
yeah.
or was I?
I have highlighted, I
only-
do bold in the minutes the actionable
Yeah.
steps that we're all supposed to do.
Yeah,
Right.
bold and italicized,
Yes, I do,
which
I really do, I'm
love,
trying
you know.
here.
Go Ellie.
Okay,
I got one.
I have had no response from the town regarding their social media. I'm going to continue to follow up with that, hopefully in person, just to see if we can post something on Facebook.
Wonderful.
But yeah, they haven't responded to me, so.
Go tomorrow.
Yeah, so yes, taxes.
As a
As a way to get it
As a
out,
way to get it
otherwise
out,
we
yeah.
have to mail them ourselves, which we don't
Yeah.
have a budget, so. Okay.
Yep.
Shoot, I just
Joy,
got, we
did
just
you-
got ours
I know,
too.
I got mine today.
Joy, did you manage to get that QR code to?
I did,
Jan?
so that's why I was surprised that you said you only got one more.
Yeah.
Because I printed out a bunch of surveys,
Okay.
and then I printed out the QR codes,
Yeah.
so that, you know, people could actually take them. I printed out like, I don't know, 30.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I've got a
30.
stack of them in the
Yeah.
schoolhouse when we're open on weekends, so.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. I'll look into that again, but normally I get an email every time we.
Did you look at the town mailbox at all, Robin?
I spoke to them and they've said nothing. So the
Okay.
people we've sent correspondence to, namely the trustees,
Essex.
Essex County, the Greenbelt,
Essex.
basically we sent out letters to tell them what we're doing, and if they had any comment, help, advice, or wanted to be part of any discussion,
And
Come
sons and
back.
daughters.
and the sons and daughters,
Who they
which I
did.
have gone
Yeah.
out to directly. I went through the website to Marsha and haven't had a response, but I mean that's fine.
Okay. So yeah,
I think we need to go and
look into taxes.
find another way of doing it, like, getting hold of someone on the phone. Because basically, the trustees have just had a change as the chief exec, haven't they, or someone, I think, or it's the Greenbelt. I mean, there's been, I think it was the trustees who have got a new executive in charge, haven't they, a lady who's taken over,
They've been
because they've
yeah, but it would probably be the local site manager.
area, there's an
Yeah.
area person,
Yeah.
I know,
Okay.
David's.
Those I'm less.
Okay,
like
that's
enthusiastic
important
people.
anyway,
Mhm.
but we haven't had any response.
No.
It was merely just information to just tell them we're doing something that's could affect their property.
It was a courtesy, courtesy letter saying, this is what we'd like to do. Your property is, a prominent part of
The
the area, it was more of a courtesy kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Some of them came to that first informational session in person, but. Okay, so keep moving on that. We will come back to taxes and other options.
Okay.
Next agenda item.
Any other business first? I've got one.
Okay.
I got an email into the to our public, our
Email address?
email address
Oh.
saying that some expense was rejected. No one's bought anything on.
It's probably scam.
Oh,
Sounds like
I don't
a
think
phishing.
it's
I didn't
scam.
get that, and I get copied on all of the emails.
Oh,
that
yeah,
get
so
sent
your
in.
filter got,
My
filtered it
filter
out,
caught it
yeah,
and yours did not.
yeah.
Okay.
I will double check on that because I do have access. I don't
Oh, yeah.
respond
I mean,
to
no
emails,
one's
but I have
spent.
access to it.
I mean, it
No,
could
we've
be
done-
spam. Yeah,
Yeah,
spam.
it's
yeah,
gotta
that's,
That's fascinating.
and
How much
okay,
did they
and,
spend?
right. Any comments from the public, Russ?
No, thank you.
Anything? I mean, we
Alright.
want to make sure. I'm glad you're here. Keep
Yeah.
informed.
Some of the public.
It's important. Thank
Yeah,
you,
In the same seat.
thank you.
We need more.
I know we do.
Well,
Jan's not here today.
for input. Anyway, thank you.
Okay, when are we gonna meet again?
I think we better be fairly short because
Yeah, I would agree.
we want to get. We're now on a roll with this. This is
This
good
is
work,
wonderful.
and I want to get started on the
Yeah.
research side.
Good.
So,
Okay.
So I think.
And what we're doing tonight, exactly what that needs.
So
Yeah,
are we looking
yeah,
at maybe
yeah.
like 3 weeks out
Yeah.
instead of? Alright, so
That's
if
good.
we look at the week of the 23rd, how does that look for people?
Is that this month?
That is this month.
Bingo.
Is
You pull up the calendar.
is this time good for everyone still, and this day of the week good for everyone?
Tuesday is not gonna work for me towards the end of this month.
Monday's no good at all for me, because I've got
Okay.
the Great Marsh Symposium.
Yeah, the Great Marsh
I mean,
Symposium.
that day,
It's on the
probably
23rd.
not good. Okay,
Okay.
October, yeah, Tuesdays also are just very full in here,
Zing out another day.
so. Yeah. What about Wednesday?
I'm good the whole week, so, after Monday.
What day is under consideration?
The 25th, Wednesday,
I can't do that.
okay. The calendar,
Are you going to
yeah, I'm looking at the
do
neighbor.
amend what we've done with those corrections in?
Okay, we can't do Thursday, this room is taken. Friday doesn't seem like a good option.
Well, if it
Actually, the
is-
town building's closed on Friday, so we can't do Fridays, right?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so actually that week looks like it's maybe not good.
So Monday,
30th, maybe?
oops, the next
Well,
one.
yeah, I thought you guys said the 23rd is no good.
No,
No, the 23rd's not good, I'm running that conference.
Right, and they're all attending, so, yeah.
I'll be dead.
Okay, the 30th?
that's
Or
right,
God, the next week, it either has to be Monday or I cannot do it.
I'm free 30, no, okay.
I can do the 30th.
The 30th?
Good for me.
Oh, I'm good on the 30th.
That's, yeah,
And
that's
the
the week
room's
of the
open?
summit, so,
The room is open,
yes it is.
okay,
What time?
30th?
5:30?
Do you like this time? Is this good for?
It's good for me. Good for you.
That's fine.
Alright, 5:30 to 7.
Okay. All right.
Good,
Right. Move to adjourn.
second,
Okay.
all those in favor?
Alright.
Aye, wonderful,
Alright, cool.
this is good.
Best of luck
Very
on
good.
your next meeting.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so everyone